events with the presentation of the colors from the Mineola Fire Department on Hughes Rise. Our Pledge of Allegiance this evening will be recited by Marine Corps veteran John Kress, who served in Iraq and is also a teacher at Mineola High School.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for your service, sir. Our national anthem will be sung by Bridget Cunningham, who is a junior at Mineola High School.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and like its red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. And now for our invocation, I'll ask Deacon Brian to come forward. I hope to see her. He is, we were expecting Father Burns, but he's under the weather, so Deacon is here to fill in. See you.
Heavenly Father, God of soul, thank you for our new mayor, Mayor Guerrera, and his team of dedicated trustees who will serve our village in elected leadership roles and for their families. Please provide them with a reminder each day of why they decided to accept your call, to dedicate their lives to public service, and to use that commitment to encourage them. Give them peace when their work calls them away from their responsibilities and their families to serve us. We also pray in thanksgiving for our former Mayor Strauss, for his dedicated service as trustee and mayor, and all the wonderful things that he has done for our village. Bless him as he transitions into a new phase of his life. Let us also pray for the families of our village leaders. We ask that you draw them near and give them the wisdom on how to best support one another while their loved one is away working for us. We pray and we're so grateful for the staff of our leaders, Lord. that they have such an important part, an important job keeping the offices and departments of our village running as they should. Thank you for the ways that you have gifted them to support us so well. Wrap your arms around these men and women to show them love, grace, strength, and encouragement. Provide them with the knowledge needed to approach each situation in the best possible way. And help them to know you and to see your presence in their work that they do. And Father, we're so grateful to be living in a democracy where many people play a part in making sure the needs and the desires of our village citizens are heard and met. And as our elected leaders work together to find solutions to difficult problems, we ask that you guide them to speak respectfully and with humility to one another. Help them to reflect the love that you have for us, to those who they interact with, and be an advocate for all of us here in Indianola. Lord, thank you for these leaders who care about issues impacting the most vulnerable. We ask that you help them to care for people in need, especially our seniors, our children, those who are ill and in need of care. Press on the hearts of our village neighbors a desire and drive to reach out to Mayor Pereira and our trustees on issues affecting our day-to-day lives, and enlighten them with your wisdom and grace towards these issues. And we're so grateful that we have these leaders who listen to us. God, please be with them and inspire them as they weigh and debate the pros and the cons of each request. Give them wisdom on how to best represent everyone. And Father, we also ask that you give them courage so that even when it's hard, they would continue to boldly represent our needs and those of the most vulnerable. Amen.
Amen.
Father God, we thank you for your service to the entire department.
Detail, retired fellows. Detail, right face. Oh,
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Very much, you may be seated. So we are joined this evening by some folks that we want to call attention to. Thank them for being here. Luisa Pedro is the Consul General of Portugal. And also here is Maria João Rivera, who is a former member of the Portuguese Assembly of the Republic. Whitney Smith, the Neal High School principal, is here. Please Dr. Gavin, Deputy Superintendent, also here as well. And I see also here we'll be swearing in a new mayor. Former Mayor and Senator Jack Martins is here. Former trustee and councilman Dennis Walsh. And I also see in the audience former trustee for a long time, ex-chief of the Navy Fire Department, Bruce Santos. So it's very nice to see such a large crowd here this evening. It's very important, I think, to mark these moments and to not take them for granted. But tonight, we're all going to bear witness to what a peaceful transfer of power looks like. And the world needs more of that. And here in our little pond of Mineola, it may not be the world stage, and it may not be the largest of municipalities, but guess what? It's important to us. It's where we make our homes and our businesses and our lives and raise our kids. And we choose our leaders. And I can tell you that in my time in Mineola, I have been part of the era when the village elections were closer to trench warfare at times than not. And in more recent times, we've had relative peace in the valley. And there's a lot to be said for both. There's a lot to be said for competitive elections, but there's a lot to be said for relative peace in the valley and still having access to the people who run policy and run the organization at this stage. So thank you all for coming this evening. And someone who presided over a number of those years of relative peace in the Valley is the current mayor, who's still the mayor at this moment in time, Scott Strauss, to say a few words.
Thank you, Jim. The incoming mayor asked me to keep this brief, so I got to cut down to 10 minutes per year that I was mayor. Tonight I step aside as mayor, a position I've held for the last 11 years, 11 great years. If anyone thinks it's easy, they are sadly mistaken. It takes a great deal of dedication and hard work, and I have had a great time doing it. Every elected official should be as fortunate as I have been. I've had the honor of working with great people, talented people, people whose only wish is to make Mineola the best it can be. Although we didn't always agree, each of us on the board had nothing but the best interests of our friends, neighbors, and community in our hearts. We voiced our opinions and listened to each other with mutual respect. Everything we did together. Trustee Casado, you're someone I've known and been friends with for over 40 years. I first met you when I was a kid working at Robert's Men's Store, just down the block from Mineola Music, the store your parents owned. I soon found myself fighting fires in our community alongside you, and for the last 11 years working with you up here to better our hometown. Your heart is solely and solidly in Mineola. Your passion can't be replicated. Trustee Durham is unable to be with us tonight as he had to rush out of state to assist his aging parents. He and I went through all school together. We were scouts together. We were leaders in Troop 45 as kids, then again as adults, and have worked together as fellow trustees, helping to shape our village, moving it into the future. Former trustee, now town councilman Walsh, is another amazing individual. I don't think there's another person who's worked as hard at being a trustee than he has. He would immerse himself in every aspect of the job and do it incredibly well. And he's now doing the same for us on the town level. Paul, Mayor-elect, thank you for your steadfast support and guidance. You're incredibly knowledgeable and dedicated to the place we grew up in and still call home. Your vision for Mineola will continue to make us strong and vibrant. There is no one I would rather turn the reins of our great village over to than you. I've sat on this board with the four of you for roughly the past 10 years. I learned something from each one of you. It's been an absolute pleasure and privilege to have served with you. I appointed Trustee Sartori to the board several months ago. From day one, she's proven her value to us. While there were many extremely qualified people to be considered, I can honestly say the right choice was made. Trustee Clark, we've been friends and fellow firefighters for years. You've taken on anything and everything in whole ways, have stepped up, not only with great ideas, but with the commitment to do that and see them through. The village of Mineola has another great team sitting up here with more great things to come. Our village attorneys, John Gibbons, Peter Tranicasa, and Ben Truncal, are nothing short of spectacular. Aside from their vast and deep knowledge of municipal governing, they are great people, great friends. The three of them have done more for Mineola than anyone could think possible. So much so, you would think they live here. Mineola is incredibly lucky to have them on our side. To all of our department heads and, of course, all of our employees, thank you for everything you've done and continue to do for our community. You have given more of yourselves and have asked more of each other than anyone could have possibly imagined, and you delivered time and time again. Collectively, we've done many great things and have gone through many difficult times over the past 11 years. We've gone through hurricanes, Superstorm Sandy, blizzards, and many other severe weather incidents. Each one was managed and mitigated expertly due to the diligence, hard work, and dedication of our employees on all levels. The COVID pandemic threw something new at us, and they handled that as well. Our staff pulled together, adjusted schedules, and did everything we could to keep everyone safe and healthy, all while keeping Village Hall open and running when other municipalities took the opportunity to close. Even our library remained open and available, making curbside deliveries of books and other materials. As a community, We comforted and supported each other as we dealt with the passing of fellow employees, family members, friends, and sadly, far too many of the younger members of our community. On the positive side, we have a gorgeous amphitheater, dozens of free summer concerts, a revamped Memorial Park, a new Emory Park on Emory Road, new equipment for our public works and fire department, and we have put a tremendous amount of money into our infrastructure. We've given our village hall and community center a facelift, new floors, bathrooms, historical pictures, audio-visual equipment upgrades for our meetings. We've replaced an aging sewer system in our downtown and continue to exceed all water regulation requirements when it comes to our drinking water. A new water administration building is near completion, and a new firehouse is rising from the ground just across the street. Financially, Mineola is in the best shape it's ever been in. There's so many more things I can list. At the end of it all, the message is simple. We've done our very best for you, our community, and that will no doubt continue under Mayor Carrera. In all aspects, Mineola is a great and strong position, not because of any one individual, but because of all of you. Our firefighters, ambulance corps, auxiliary police, scout leaders, MAA volunteers, PL coaches, church groups, Chamber of Commerce, veteran and senior groups, our boards and committees, and many others have all contributed to the betterment of our community. You all have contributed way above and beyond simply because you care. All of you have been great partners and a major part of keeping Mineola strong and vibrant. I will match you up against any other community, anytime. We are who we are because you are who you are. I want to thank all of you for your support, your guidance, your understanding of the complexities of running village government. Although you weren't sitting in the chair, each of you need to know you were with me every step of the way and share equally in our successes. To my friends, thank you for your protectiveness and your unyielding support. Growing up, my parents gave me a strong foundation. They knew the importance of community service. They lived it and instilled it in me, my brothers, and my sister. We all kept building on that. My younger brother, Mark, who is with us tonight, is the council president in his township in New Jersey. 45, 50 years ago, as a kid, my father would often bring me to Village Hall to the board meetings. Slightly more than 11 years ago, I called him and talked to him about the possibility of me joining the board of trustees. He knew the many things I was already involved in and the workload I had. At the end of our talk, he said, "Scott, you'll not only be able to do it, you'll do it well. Go for it." That's all I needed. The backing and support of the person I admired most. 11 years ago, my parents sat in here, in this room, as I was sworn in as mayor. I know they were proud of me, but I think I was more proud of them, and thankful for believing in me, supporting me, and turning me into the person I am. 8 years ago today, my father passed away. I still miss him terribly. I know he was with me these past 8 years, and he's with me again tonight saying, "I know you can do it." Brian and Christopher, my two sons, thank you for being the incredible kids, young men, and leaders that you are. Leah, Megan, thank you for your support, not only of me, but from Brian and Christopher, as they have also committed themselves to community service. No one can do it alone, and they are lucky to have you at their side, supporting them each and every way. Pat, there's no way I can adequately thank you for your love and support as I do the things I wanted to do, the things I needed to do. Whether it be a soccer or baseball coach with the MEA, EMT, and MVAC, volunteer firefighter, line officer, blah, 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 blah. And certainly as mayor, you stood by me each and every time. Many times getting involved in those organizations as well. You kept me on track, organized, and reminded me where I had to be and when. Many times you took great joy in telling me where to go. And rightfully so. Doing all those things, especially being mayor, has taken me away from all of you way too much. But you took it all in stride. You picked up any slack there was and tolerated more than most people could. The only words I know to say are thank you and I love you. I don't know what the future has in store for me, but whatever lies ahead, whether it be personal challenges or another role in community service, I will take it on and go at it with everything I have, something I have always done. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an absolute absolute honor to have served as your mayor and to have served and worked with you side by side. Paul, you've always put the residents of Mineola first and foremost in every discussion we've had and every decision we've made. You've been an enormous help to me each and every day. You're a tremendous person and an even better friend. As I said, there is no one I'd rather turn the reins over to than you. May God bless our country, our military personnel, our first responders, and may God bless the village of Mineola. Congratulations, Paul. God bless you.
All right, thank you very much, Mayor. And before we go on with the swearing-in ceremony, I just want to note the presence of Linda Fairgrieve, former trustee. She'll be with Scott in a little while he's sworn in. And also I was going to note that Judge Bob Hokel is here, so we want to acknowledge him. With that, we're going to move on to the oath of office for Paul Pereira, who will be sworn in by former Senator Jack Barnes.
Good evening, everyone. It is great to be back here in Mineola for yet another organization night, and I welcome and thank you for the opportunity to say a few words. First, for Mayor Strauss. Scott, one of the things we're called on in public service is almost like a Hippocratic oath in medicine. Do no harm. Leave things better when you leave than when you got there. And as much as this is a group effort, we work together as a team, and there are a lot of people who contributed to it. Leadership comes from the top. And we here in Mineola, for the past 12 plus years, because we haven't counted the time as chief, we haven't counted the time as a volunteer firefighter, we haven't counted the time as a coach, we haven't counted the time as a community leader, but certainly for the last 12 years, we've had the great luck of having you at the helm here in Mineola, of leading us, and certainly leading Mineola far better off today than when you found it just 12 years ago. God bless you and thank you. I've known Paul Pereira for over 40 years. And if you look at the two of us, you'd probably say that is impossible. Because neither one of us looks like we're 40 years old yet, but we are. We grew up together right here in the streets of Mineola, and I must tell you, it is an extraordinary honor to be sitting here today, to be able to not only say a few words about Paul, but given the opportunity to swear in. Paul has been not only a community leader here in the village, certainly we've seen his great work on the village board where he served for these past 14 years. But before that, as a community leader here in the village, as a teacher at the high school, as a coach on the pitch, as a husband, as a father, and as someone we have all, in our own way, over time, turned to for help. What a wonderful thing to see him taking over the reins of our great village. You ask yourself, what drives people to public service? I've always said, being there at Mineola was the best 80-hour-a-week part-time job I ever had. And I'm sure Mayor Strauss would agree. It really is a wonderful honor. But what drives people to want to do that? What drives people to leave their homes at 2 o'clock in the morning, to rush off, to run into a fire, to help others, and to make sure that our community is safe? It's the need we have to make a difference, and to make a positive difference. And I can tell you that from working with this board over the years, that's what this is all about. Making a positive change. And I know that with all of our help, Paul's going to do wonderful things. The one thing I told him when he told me that he was considering running for mayor is to be bold. Go out there, make a difference. Listen, but also don't be afraid because of the community that we have here. Embrace that. Because there are challenges coming that we have to deal with. If I had told you about COVID 3-4 years ago, you wouldn't have believed me, but here we are. We have to be ready for those challenges as they come up, and I must tell you, as I look at this board, we're ready. And it is my honor today to swear my dear friend Paul Pereira in as the mayor of our great village. And I would ask Deanna and Andrew, Sophia, and if you would join me up here as we swear in our next mayor, Mayor Pereira. Please join me. Mayor, would you raise your right hand? You solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New York, the ordinances, codes, and local laws of the Village of Mineola, and to perform the duties of mayor to the best of your ability, so help you God.
Thank you.
Mayor, congratulations.
As the saying goes, if you can dream it, you can achieve it. I'm not sure that I ever dreamed that I would be here in this moment. Perhaps it was my parents' dream all along, as they settled into a 2-bedroom apartment above a storefront on Main Street with 4 boys under the age of 13 in August of 1977, with no knowledge of English and with limited skills. Surely it was their dream. And because of their courageous dream, here I am before you, achieving it. Dear friends, family, distinguished guests, and fellow residents, good evening, and thank you for being here with us this evening. I offer my congratulations to Trustee Sartori and Clark on your election, and welcome you to the Board of Trustees. I'm very much looking forward to working with you, my good friend, Trustee Casado, who has dedicated his entire adult life to public service in this village, as well as to our soon-to-be-appointed Trustee Don Slavsky, who is also a lifelong resident of the village of Mineola. And together, with the 20,000 residents of the village of Mineola, we will take this village that we all love ever forward and ever higher. Although he's not able to be here with us this evening, I also want to thank Trustee Durham for his service to this board and to this village and wish him well. And lastly, I would like to extend my congratulations to Trustee Fairgrieve on his recent re-election for a 4-year term as judge. Of course, we can't talk about where we are without talking about where we were, where we've been. Mayor Scott Strauss is the epitome of one of my favorite Teddy Roosevelt quotes. Do what you can with what you have, where you are. known Scott for approximately 11 years, I've come to know that he has lived those words his entire life. I have learned a lot from Mayor Strauss over these last 11 years. He led us through Superstorm Sandy. He led us through countless storms and blizzards. And of course, he has led us through a global pandemic, among many, many other things. He's a man of action. He is a man of sacrifice, a man of integrity, a man of character, a true leader in every sense of the word. And for me, above all else, he's a true friend. Mayor, on my behalf, on behalf of my family, and the 20,000 residents of the village of Mineola, thank you for your service. I plan on putting to good use all the lessons that I've learned from Mayor Strauss over the years, as well as being on this board for the last 14 years. Leadership, a good plan, and the necessary tools needed are the recipe for success. I believe we have these qualities on this board, in this leadership team here among us, and of course, most of all, in our wonderful employees and volunteers throughout the village. We have, over these last 10 years, as Mayor Strauss mentioned earlier, invested heavily in our infrastructure, in our century-old infrastructure. We've invested in our water delivery systems, our sewers, our roads, and of course, our beloved volunteer fire department. We will continue to do that. And we will also invest in our parks, our ball fields, and our quality of life. There will certainly be challenges ahead, but we are ready for them, and we will face them head on. I won't do it alone, of course, and because of that, I could not be happier with the team that surrounds me, both up here on the dais and out here in the audience. I am truly humbled, once again, by this community's confidence in me. I thank you for your support and trust in me. I will continue to work diligently with my fellow board members to keep this village that we all love on the path that it is on, the path of smart growth and development, the path of assuring the quality of life that we all expect and deserve, and the path of protecting our future by facing the challenges of today and of those yet to come. Walt Disney famously said, the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. Well, I plan on doing just that. But if you will indulge me just for a moment, I would like to say a few words in Portuguese for my friends and family that are here this evening, and for my parents who will be seeing this in Portugal. Quero agradecer a todos aqueles que me ajudaram a cá chegar e a todos aqueles que me precederam. De uma forma muito especial, quero agradecer aos meus pais, aos meus irmãos, a todos os meus amigos, alguns que cá estão em Portugal, e claro, à minha mulher, Diana, e aos meus filhos, Andrew, Sofia e Ana. Porque nada disto seria possível se não fosse o enorme sacrifício deles, apoiando-me ao longo destes anos. Além de ser eu, que neste momento cá estou, saibam que eu reconheço que cá estou graças a muitos que abriram o caminho para mim. E jamais me esquecerei de onde vim e quem sou. Muito obrigado. In closing, all those that have supported me throughout the years, and you know who you are, I sincerely thank you. Your support is never forgotten and never taken for granted. And finally, and most importantly, to my fellow residents, to my fellow 20,000 residents of the Incorporated Village of Mineola, I thank you again for the opportunity to serve you and the great Village of Mineola. We will not let you down. God bless you all, God bless the United States of America, and God bless the great Village of Mineola. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pereira. We will now have the swearing in of Trustee James Sartori. former Mayor Scott Strauss. First time official. Julie, South Safety.
Thank you, Jim. When Trustee Walsh announced he was running for town council, I began considering people for his replacement. I've been mayor for 11 years, and I will say this was one of the more difficult decisions I've ever had to make. Difficult because there were so many interesting, qualified people to consider. After much thought and a lot of evaluating, there was one person who stood out. That person was Janine Sartori. This past November, I had the honor and pleasure to appoint her to the board. Janine has a bachelor's in marketing and master's in finance. She's worked for years with some of the country's top companies. She's currently self-employed consultant for overseeing day-to-day finance in several businesses. Raised in Staten Island, Janine and her husband Tiziano moved to Mineola in 2004, a place they call home, like we all do. Since moving here, she's been involved with our community and our schools, PTA, MEA, zoning board, the list is long. Working with her these past several months on the board has been absolutely fantastic. She's involved in her role, has great ideas on how to get the village to where we want it to be, to where you want it to be, and shares a similar vision for our community. Janine is incredibly intelligent and has a great sense of humor. But I think the best thing about her is how important her family is to her. There is nothing more important than family. Tonight, I am again honored to swear her in as trustee. Joining Janine here is her husband Tiziano. Her twin boys, Anthony and Luigi, are unable to make it tonight. They're playing baseball. And her parents, Anthony and Florence. So folks, if you can come on up, that'd be greatly appreciated. Stand over this way, how's that? You know what, let's turn this around one more time. Sorry. As always, she's right. Please raise your right hand. When I state my name, say the words, repeat after me. I, Scott Strauss, do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution of the State of New York, the rules, codes, and ordinances of the Incorporated Village of Mineola, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of trustee to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. First, I'd like to thank Mayor Strauss and Mayor Herrera, former Mayor Strauss and Mayor Herrera. They were the ones who initially asked me to sit in this board. But most importantly, I want to thank the voters for their vote of confidence in electing me to stay on this board. I also want to thank my husband Tiziano and my family and my boys for that, they just won their meeting. Their support, that is really everything to me. Unlike Mayor Herrera and many members and former members of this board, as mentioned, I did not grow up in Mineola. I moved out here 17 years ago from the outer boroughs with very little knowledge of Mineola and of Long Island. But during my time here, as I became more involved in the community, I started to see why so many people who have grown up here have chosen to stay and raise their family, and for some, their grandchildren, here in this town. Mineola is a wonderful place to live. We have great schools, a fantastic library, beautiful parks. But the best part of Mineola is this community. The people I have met throughout MAA, our schools, our Chamber of Commerce, our church, our fire department, and here at Village Hall are all amazing. They are passionate about this town and what goes on in it. They are the reason that I proudly take this position today. As a board, we are the ones in the public eye. We represents every single resident. This is our town, not just our town, but ours, yours, and mine. And as a trustee, I am honored to be the voice, be your voice, to do the work that is needed and continue to make Mineola the place that we are all proudly living in. So once again, I thank you all. I congratulate Mayor Pereira and the entire team, and I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Right, so before we have the next swearing in of trustee Jeff Clark, before we do that, we're going to ask former Mayor Strauss and his wife Pat Strauss to come forward for the presentation. Hold things over there. You know your way around this place.
We're going off script here a little bit, but, for those of you who know Mayor Strauss, he doesn't need any more plaques or any trophies. And frankly, I think that Pat, is running out of room in the basement to put them in boxes. So Mayor Strauss had a particular request that we don't get anything like that. So the entire leadership team of the village board, and members of our community decided to get together, get Mayor Strauss, really it's actually for Pat Strauss, a couple of gift certificates for some dinners for the mayor to take you out on, and now he does not get to say that he's busy, now he has to take you out for dinner. So on behalf of the leadership team, the department heads, and the entire village board, Mayor, Pat, thank you, and of course, Chris and Brian, thank you as well. And we have some flowers for Mrs. Strauss.
All right, next in the office will be for trustee Jeffrey M. Clark, and he will be sworn in by Councilman Dennis Wall. I have to tell you, there's something nice about North Hempstead councilman swearing in Jeff in my eyes, because I first met Jeff way back when in town hall, in the late 80s. And I remember that Volkswagen bug that you were working with. A lot has changed, come a long way, and your role seems to have filled out since that time as well. So to swear in Jeff Clark. Yes.
This is the most crowded room I've seen in a long time. It has not been this crowded for a reorganization in a long time. And I can't speak Portuguese, but I can say to my friend Germano, bem-vindo Mineola. Germano and his wife came all the way here from Portugal to be here in Portugal. And there were many other people here, but this is not the people here from me. This is about Jeff Clark. And Jeff Clark has been around Mineola for a long time. He's the past president of the Irish-American Society of Nurses, which happens to be the largest Irish society on the east coast of the United States. He is now the first vice president of the Irish Society. He is also the chairman of the parade committee. So when you see this parade that goes on in Mineola, St. Patrick's Parade, Jeff worked with a few others for a year to prepare for that. It's not an easy task, there's a lot to it. And Jeff was also the chief of the fire department, but he was chief 2 times in a row. I think maybe Jack Gayson might have been the only one who ever did that. Some people, like Mark Connolly, has been the chief of the fire department. around, there's a lot of firemen here tonight. We have the chief of the fire department, Andrew Martone. We have the first assistant chief, Dr. Magdalise. We have the second assistant chief, Brian Strauss, and many, many former chiefs who, I won't even mention your name, but you know who you are. A lot of people came out for Jeff tonight, and it's very deserving. I'm not going to drag this on because this is about Jeff, so I look forward to Jeff coming up with his family. And Jeff also has to be thanked for propagating the earth with many, many children.
As soon as we find what's causing it, we'll take care of it.
Okay, so raise your right hand, put your left hand on the Bible. And just repeat after me. And I say,
I, Jeff Clark,
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution of the United States,
to uphold the Constitution of the United States,
to uphold the Constitution of the State of New York,
to uphold the Constitution of the State of New York,
the rules, codes, and ordinances of the State of Village of New York,
the rules, codes, and ordinances of the Village of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of trustee
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of trustee
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
And ladies and gentlemen, trustee.
Wow. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming out tonight. First, I want to congratulate Mayor Carrera and Janine. Congratulations on your election. Look forward to serving to the board. Thanks, Scott, for what you did as mayor, for all years of service. Pleasure working with you. When I was chief and you were mayor, it was an absolute pleasure. We got a lot of great things done. I've been in the village a little over 35 years. Been involved in an organization too. I've met a few people along the way. But the common thread, the common ground of every one of those individuals I've ever met was looking to better improve Mineola. Didn't always agree on way to do it, how to do it, but it was always the intention to make Mineola a better place. Well, I'm going to work very hard over the next 4 years to make Home Sweet Home even sweeter. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, so we've done the executive and the legislative branches, so let's start with the judicial branch. So we will have the swearing in of Village Justice Scott Gregory, and he will be sworn in by Nassau County Administrative Judge Vito DiStefano. And when I asked Scott if he would be joining, and he said everything. Linda is here, his kids are here, his parents are here. So, Judge DiStefano, come on up. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mayor. Great report. Excuse me, not my voice today, too long. Just, I can only say, coming into this hall, I'm amazed at how much it's like coming to a family affair. So, you all know each other, and hearing from the speeches, how much well you know each other, 11 years, 15 years ago. A lifetime of government service and service to the people. It's truly a privilege
privileged to be here for that reason. As I'm in your home, let me just say a little bit about what I do. So as the administrative judge of the courts of Nassau County, I am basically have oversight over all the courts of Nassau County. And my introduction to Judge Fairgrieve came back in 2004 when I was sworn in as a district court judge. At the time, Judge Fairgrieve was also a district court judge. On the first day, January 1st, 2004, Judge Fairgrieve came into the chambers with his usual friendly way and swore that he was the mayor of Mineola, the judge of the district court coming from Mineola. He's such a friendly person, human being. He then went on to, offer me his advice and friendship. And over the years, it's been a true privilege to call him friend, and also to draw upon his mastery of law, his dedication, and his honesty. He's a great person. I know you know that about him. Just a quick story, one Fairgrieve story I always tell is that I would go into I was going to see an internist over here in Mineola. And after giving me the examination, I was talking to him about Judge Fairgrieve, because of course everybody knows Judge Fairgrieve. And he said, just out of the blue, shot out, he strikes me as an honest man. He was a very honest man. I don't know if you feel the same way, but that was my one impression of Judge Fairgrieve since the first minute I met him. He was an honest man. And it's a pleasure, therefore, for me to come here tonight to swear my friend in to the office of village judge. The loss to district court when he retired, and the loss to the courts. I am so happy and pleased that he is here serving me well once again as a judge. So, Judge Fairgrieve, will you please come up and
Come on, Ross. Come on, Tara. She's a lawyer, too. Hi, Holly. Okay.
You solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New York, the rules, codes, and ordinances of the Village of Mineola, and also to faithfully perform the duties of the Office of Village Justice of the Village of Mineola to the best of your ability, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I want to welcome everybody to the swearing in tonight. And this is a tremendous night. It was funny. I was in the shower today, and I realized it was 40 years ago I got sworn in at 32 years old as a trustee in the Village of Mineola, and there's a picture. I want to thank all the great people of Mineola for re-electing me as village justice. I promise you in the next 4 years I'm going to do my darndest to impress you and to treat each case importantly. I want to welcome you here tonight. I want to thank everybody for coming here and supporting Mayor Strauss. What a great job he did for the 11 years he did. Paul Pereira, Jeff Clark, and Angelini on their election, and the new trustee to be appointed, I guess, tonight. Wednesday, okay. And so I just want to thank everybody. You know, we really do live in a great village. Friendly, nice, everybody cares for each other. You know, today, I don't know about you, I saw on the news what happened in Ukraine in that village. They were showing the atrocity, the genocide that went on there. I'm sorry, I have had it with it. And we are so lucky, and I just want to take a minute to remember all the poor people in Ukraine. It's just, my blood boils. Just want to take a minute. Sorry, but I just had to do a comparison. What a great country we live in. What a great country we live in. Have freedom of speech. We don't get arrested for criticizing the government. You can criticize me, the Mayor Strauss, anybody. And that's great. That's what we want. So, I just also want to acknowledge Judge Robert Vogel, who's the supervising judge of the village courts. Bob, would you stand up, please? You know, I'm going to say to you, all the people who serve as public officials, as judges, give up their valuable time. I will tell you, over the years, my family did suffer because of my involvement. But my daughter is now a lawyer. She serves as an ADA in Suffolk County. I'm very proud of her. My son, Ross, is a software engineer for LinkedIn. And those are my two grandchildren. I'm so proud of. And now his wife from Vietnam came here with nothing with the family. And now works for Blackstone, one of the top Wall Street firms. And Jim works in Suffolk County. He's very high up in government. He does a great job. He's a very good husband to my daughter. So I am so blessed to have such a great family. Most of all, I'm sorry. We just went through 3 months of hell. A lot of people know. She was in the hospital 35 days. She had massive surgery, and she survived it. And she's here tonight. Linda, I got elected a year and a half ago when, unfortunately, John O'Shea passed away. What a great judge he was. You hear constantly what a great judge he was. Friendly, he was concerned with the community. At 62 years old, the community really lost a great person. And I will say this to you, I hope that we name the courtroom after him. I think that's something that should be considered. I know it's been mentioned before, so it's not an original idea of mine, so I'm not taking credit for it. But I think it's something that maybe the village may want to just consider. I also want to thank Elizabeth Bernardis, the court clerk. What a tremendous job she does in running the court. Sue and Connie, her assistants, are there all the time working their tails off for your benefit, all our benefits. The prosecutors have been tremendous. Peter and Ben, I tell you, they really try. They do an A+ job in representing the legal profession and the village of Mineola. When I came in, and I was in the district court for 20 years, and I've continued my philosophy. I teach each case very seriously. I don't care the amount of money. I'm fair and impartial. I listen to everybody and then make my decision. You may not like it, but I do listen to you. And I do give credence to all your arguments. And I will continue to do that. Some other improvements that we did. When I came in, there were hundreds of thousands of dollars in judgments. Nothing was happening with them. With Elizabeth and I worked on it, with the village board. We collected somewhere between $120,000 and $130,000, which is your taxpayers' money. have regular day court now, and people love it. When they have to just take care of legal matters, we're there in the daytime. We also will do night court as needed, and we will continue to do this. Our aim is to give a fair and friendly court. You know, we want to be known as a fair and friendly court today and in the future, and that's our goal. Okay? And also, I just want to thank Associate Judge Stephen Barnwell for being so gracious and so helpful when needed. So I just want to thank him publicly too. And I just want to make sure I covered everything. I think I did. And Maddie, I don't want to forget Lindsay's name. Maddie has always been there for me. So again, thank you everybody for re-electing me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Judge. It appears that the thoughts that the judiciary had in the shower were a little bit different than the thoughts you had in the shower. I'm sharing that with us. And now we're going to go to the official business portion of the meeting and the annual appointments, and that'll be done by
Good evening. It's the fun part of the night. Congratulations, sir. Mayor Barrera, board, Mayor Strauss, and all the appointed officials tonight. So the first item, resolution confirming the mayor's appointments of village officials. Village clerk, Brian L. Rivera. Deputy village clerk, Linda Barton. Superintendent of Public Works, Thomas J. Reed. Deputy Superintendent of Public Works, Leonard M. Palumbo. Treasurer, Giacomo Chacon. Deputy Treasurer, Egidio J. Beverly. Village Orderly, Christiana Salerno. Secretary to the Zoning Board of Appeals, Peter Smith. Secretary to the Planning Board, Donna Thompson. Activities Coordinator, Martha Estauso. Assistant Activities Coordinator, Anna Aiken. Library Director, Charles Sleep. Deputy Parking Supervisor, Daniel Romaletti. Court Clerk of the Justice Court, Elizabeth Bernardes. Associate Village Justice, Stephen Barnwell. Village Attorney, John P. Gibbons Jr. Deputy Village Attorney, Benjamin J. Troncal Jr. Deputy Village Attorney, Peter Trenchcast. Village Prosecutor, Peter S. Trenchcast. Deputy Prosecutor, Benjamin J. Troncal Jr. Special Retained Counsel, Spellman, Gibbons, Pelosi, Troncal, and Trenchcast, LLP. Counsel to the Library Board, Benjamin J. Troncal Jr. Counsel to the Zoning Board of Appeals, Benjamin J. Troncal Jr. Counsel to the Planning Board, Architectural Review Board, Benjamin J. Troncal Jr. Village Engineer, D&D Engineers and Architects. Electrical Inspectors, Inc. Financial Advisor, Capital Markets Advisors, LLC. Bond Counsel, Hawkins, Delafield, and Wood, LLP. Independent Auditors, Repair, Vale, and Barrett, LLP. The Pool Recreation Board, Mary Ann Lagone, Kenneth Salaski, and Heather Coiro. Library Board, Mary Jo Love, Mary Ann Warnecki, Angela Wasserman. Planning Board, Architectural Review Board, Joe Grillo, Ken Weiss. Planning Board, Architectural Review Board Chairman, Nicholas Pinaccio. Planning Board, Architectural Review Board Alternate, Joseph Rowan. The Board of Ethics, Bernadette Pizzardi, Elizabeth Bernardes, Russell Sutherland, Chet Easton, Lisa Alfonso Valente. Zoning Board, Peter Smith, William Grimm Jr., William Mahoney. Zoning Board Alternate, Raymond Powers. Zoning Board Chairman, James Sherry. Assessors, Richard Marr, Eugene Martani, Paul Watzak. Assessment Review Board, Andrew Ward, and Philip Wasserman. Is there a motion?
A motion? Motion by trustee Pissarro. Second by trustee, welcome trustee, first motion, trustee Clark. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution appointing trustee Janine Sartori as deputy mayor. Is there a motion?
I'll entertain a motion. Casado. Second. Second by trustee Clark. Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations. Resolution approving the list of public meetings and public hearings as presented. Is there a motion?
I'll entertain a motion to approve the public meetings as presented.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori. Do I have a second?
Second.
By trustee Casado. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution authorizing the village officials listed below for undertakings in the amounts as follows. Village clerk, $150,000. Deputy village clerk, $75,000. Village treasurer, $150,000. Deputy village treasurer, $75,000. Village auditor, $75,000. Village justice, $50,000. Acting village justice, $25,000. Such undertakings will be in the form of a bond of a surety company authorized to transact business in the state of New York, and the expense thereof shall be a charge upon the village of Mineola. Is there a motion?
I'll entertain a motion. Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori. Second by trustee Casado. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution under section 82 of the village law designating the village clerk as collector of taxes and assessment, and for the village clerk to be authorized to collect taxes and assessments of the village. Is there a motion?
I'll entertain a motion. Motion by trustee Casado. Second by trustee Clark. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution under section 126A of the village law authorizing the village clerk and the collector of taxes to be credited unpaid and uncollected taxes, if any, for the year 2022 to 2023. Is there a motion?
Motion by trustee Casado.
Second.
Second by Deputy Mayor Sartori. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution that the mayor be authorized and directed to affix his signature as mayor of the incorporated village of Mineola upon all checks drawn upon the village funds, in addition to the signature of the treasurer or deputy treasurer for the official year 2022-2023. Is there a motion?
I'll entertain a motion. Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori, second by trustee Casado. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution that in the absence or incapacitation of the mayor, the deputy mayor be authorized to sign all checks in the place and stead of the mayor, in addition to the signature of the treasurer or deputy treasurer for the official year 2022-2023.
Just want to run that by Mrs. Sartori first to make sure it's okay for the deputy mayor to sign all the checks. Motion by trustee Casado. Do we have a second? Second by trustee Clark. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution authorizing the treasurer as custodian of the Length of Service Award Program and the following persons as officers of the Length of Service Award Program: Paul A. Carrera, Mayor; Paul S. Cusado, Trustee; Janine Sartori, Trustee; Jeffrey M. Clark, Trustee. Is there a motion?
Entertain a motion. Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori, seconded by trustee Casado. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution authorizing the following banks to be designated as depositories for deposits of all monies received by the treasurer of the village of Mineola: Hanover Bank, Mineola, and Garden City Park branches. Is there a motion?
Entertain a motion. Motion by trustee Casado, second by Deputy Mayor Sartori. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution appointing the Nassau Illustrated News as the official village newspaper. Is there a motion?
I'll entertain a motion. Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori, seconded by trustee Clark. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution to adopt the following policies for the village of Mineola: cellular phone policy, community development outreach policy, compensation and benefit policy for elected and appointed official officers, computer policy, credit card use policy, drug and alcohol testing policy, equal employment policy statement, fair housing policy, fixed asset policy, fraud policy, fund balance policy, investment policy, pandemic emergency plan, purchasing and procurement policy, sexual harassment policy, travel expense and reimbursement policy, vehicle use policy, workplace violence policy. Is there a motion?
Entertain a motion. Motion by trustee Casado, second by Deputy Mayor Sartori. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I want to recognize that Anthony and Luigi Sartori did arrive and that they did win their game. So congratulations. Having no other business, I would like to secretary with a little bit of arm twisting from myself and Mayor Strauss to be the MC this evening. I believe that Mr. Sherry has one more order of business to complete.
Yes, we can't end without a benediction from Rabbi Pearl, who has patiently sat through our meeting tonight. Rabbi, you pray for him. Can you join us?
Everyone's talking about how many years that we're here. Thank God I'm next door as a congregation over 30 years I'm here. It's an amazing village. Thank you, Mayor Strauss, and all the mayors for the wonderful welcoming and cooperation. Thank you. To Mayor Pereira, I have a question to ask of you tonight. Who's the longest serving mayor of Bacon City? Oscar Mayer. It's my honor to begin with the biblical priestly blessing. May the Lord bless you and watch over you. May the Lord make his countenance shine upon you and favor you. May the Lord lift his countenance towards you and grant you peace. May it be your will that your blessings be granted to all of us, to our new mayor, Paul Pereira, Trustee Janine, and Jeffrey Clark, Judge Scott Fairweave. May you all be endowed with divine inspiration as you commence your terms in office, and with a spirit of wisdom, a spirit of understanding, and a spirit of counsel. Wisdom to turn adversity into opportunity, to transform the challenges of today to the seeds from which will sprout the successes of tomorrow. Understanding to properly direct resources of government according to the needs of all citizens, and counsel to unite us all in working for an even better community. Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, the Lubavitcher Rebbe of righteous memory, who continues to remind us that our country, the United States of America, is a nation of deep faith and great kindness. Every good deed brings healing and unity to a world so fractured, making it more godly and a kinder place. That our beautiful community of Mineola serve as a beacon of light and a force for good, tipping the scale of good over evil for the entire world. May we all go from strength to strength. He who makes peace in his heavens, may he make peace for all of us and for all of mankind. Let us all say amen. God bless America. Thank you.
Class dismissed.
I'll entertain a motion to close the meeting. Motion to adjourn by Trustee Clark, second by Trustee Casado. All in favor? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming out this evening. There are some refreshments in the room over there. God bless you. Thank you.
Where's water? Paperwork out.